Hello everyone. So today we are going to continue the chapter of lines and angles. And in the last chapter, we did about what is a line and how many types of lines are there. Also follows that we did what are the angles, and on the basis of their measurement, we have learned about some types of angle, which is an acute angle, which is less than 90 degrees. Then we did a right angle, which is equally 90 degrees, which is equals to 90 degrees. Then we did obtuse angle. Obtuse angle is generally greater than 90 degree and less than 180 degrees. So it's in between. It does not have a fixed value like a right angle, but it varies between it varies between 90 to 180 degrees. Then after that comes the straight line angle, which is exactly 180 degrees. It has a fixed value of 180 degree. Now we'll be continuing to learn two more types of angles, and after that we'll be learning how lines get connected to an angles in this chapter. So before doing that, let's just quickly understand the two more types of angles on the basis of measurement. So it's the reflex angle that is there that we are going to do now. Reflex angle. Reflex angle is something which doesn't have a fixed value like an obtuse angle and an acute angle. Also, it varies from 180 degree. It's like greater than 180 degree and smaller. It's greater than 180 degree and smaller than 360 degrees. Smaller than 360 degrees. Now, it looks something like this if we draw it. So, we have this line. Now, if you will look carefully, you will find out that this line, the angle it's forming, the outside, the exterior, is more than 180 degrees, right? Because 180 degrees, if it would be 180 degrees, then it would have been a straight line like this, right? But since it's not a straight line and it's going more towards 360 degrees, so that is why it's greater than that, and that is why we call it as a reflex angle. Let's name them. So it's angle A. Let's name it A, O, and B. So this is the reflex angle, angle AOB, or whatever you can call it as angle BOA. Both are the correct names. Now let's move to the next type of angle that we are doing, and it's the last type of angle that we are going to do is a complete angle. Now a complete angle, as the name suggests, that it's a complete 360 degree angle. You have heard about it, that a complete circle makes it 360 degrees. So that's why it's a complete angle. Now, why is the specific number 360 degree was chosen? It could be any random number, right? But why is it 360 degree? So there's a story behind it. Let me quickly tell you the story. So if you have heard about the Babylonians, they were great mathematicians. And one of the mathematicians from Babylon, they tried to notice the patterns of the star. What they noticed after a couple of days, or not couple of days, actually after many months, that one star, they started from one point, it started moving from one point, and it came back to its original position after completing one complete round. It came back to its original position. Now this position on which the star came back was again it was its original position. The duration of time in which the star came back on its original position was actually 400 days. But since the 400, it doesn't have so much factor. It's just the 2 and 4, which is the factor of it. 2 and 4, which is the factor of it. 2, 4, 200 like this. That's the factor, right? That is why it doesn't have so much factor. That is why it was not taken, because it would be hard to solve questions on the basis of this number. So the scientists decided after doing calculation that 360 would be the perfect number. It was close and it was a perfect number to do all the calculation on its basis. That is why this particular number 360 degree has been chosen. Now, moving that, we are aware of what are angles and how many types of angles are there. So I'm going to give you some questions that you can do. Also, I'll mention the worksheets in the link so that you can do them by yourself. So for example, let's take an angle. At this angle, named as angle PQR. Now, what's the name of this angle and what type of angle it is? You need to find out. So, this is the first question. And one more of these. So, we have one more. Which type of angle is this? And what its name? You need to find out. R. This is R, O, Q. Now, these are the two questions for which you need to find out the type of angle. Also, you need to find out the name of the angle. Now, let's come to the pair of angles. This is one new topic that is there, which we call as the pair of angles. Pair of angles. Now, what is a pair of angles? Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
330 is your beginning of the.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yeah, sure, sure. So this is, now we are going to do the new topic, as I've told you, that is pairs of angle. Now in this, we will look out for different pairs of angles that are made. And what do we call them? Pairs of angles. Now let's see. The first pair of angle that we are going to learn about is a complementary angle. I guess you have heard this name before as well. Complementary angle. Complementary means which complements to each other in general. But over here, the complementary angle means when there are two angles, when there are two angles or three angles, the total sum should be the angle whose sum is 180 degree is a complementary angle. For example, if I draw these two angles over here, you see that these are two straight angles that I have drawn. These are the two straight angles that I have drawn. Now, the value of both is 90 degree, as you know, because it's a right angle. But in total, what value is it making? That is 180 degrees. Exactly, right? Let's name them as A, B, C, and D. So this is a complementary angle, which is giving us the total sum of 180 degrees. Now, let's just move on to the next part. That is supplementary angles. Supplementary angles, next pair. Now, it is the type of angle which gives you a total, the sum should be 360 degrees. Supplementary. Now, the sum should be 360 degrees. 360 degrees. Yeah. Now, what I mean to say is when there are two angles which are making a total of one, when there are two or more than two angles. Basically, a pair is of two only. So generally, we look for those angles which make which shares or have this which totally makes the 360-degree angle. So that is why we call them supplementary angle. Okay, I guess there is a confusion. Yeah, this is the supplementary angle, and this one is complementary angle. This is supplementary angle, and this is of, it is of, the supplementary angle is of 180 degrees, whereas the complementary angle is of 90 degrees. The complementary angle is of 90 degrees. So this was an example that is appropriate for supplementary angle. For C, that is 90 degree, the complementary angle, the sum should be total of 90 degrees. For example, if I have these two angles, now if you will look carefully, let's say this is 45 degrees and this is also 45 degrees, then these two pairs are making a 90 degree in the total sum, and that is why they are called complementary angles. Now we are going to learn about the adjacent angle. What are the adjacent angles? So adjacent angles are those angles which share a common vertex. Adjacent angle. Now, what does that mean? Vertex is the corner, right? Adjacent angle. It is a type of angle which share the common vertex, but they do not overlap. For example, this one, the figure that I've drawn over on the top, this is an example of adjacent angle as well. So these are the two different angles. See, this is O, P, Q, and this is R, this side. Now we have two different angles. That is angle POR, and the other one is angle POQ, right? We have two different angles. Now, they are meeting, they share a common vertex, a common corner. This is the common corner between them, but they're not overlapping each other, right? So they are the adjacent angle. These are the adjacent angle. Understood? Now let's move on to the next thing, that is a linear pair. Now what is a linear pair? A pair of adjacent angle whose non-common sides form a straight line. For example, let me write it. A linear pair is generally the sum which, the angles which are the sum of total 180 degrees, but it's a bit different, like it is in the context of adjacent angles. So let's write linear pair. So linear pairs are generally, as I've told you, it is a pair of adjacent line with non-common sides. Non-common sides means, for example, I have two angles. Let's say this is we have angle PQR. We have these PQRS. Now you see that PQ is a straight line, so they should make at least, they should make 180 degrees, right? And SR is again a straight line, so they should also make 180 degrees, right? But in linear pair, the thing is angle P and angle angle PS and angle PR also makes a straight line, right? That is going to be 180 as well. That is why it's a linear pair. A linear pair generally has a sum of 180 degrees. So it basically falls on a straight line, right? Now, we are going to do the vertically opposite angles. What are vertically opposite angles? So in short, we can call it VOA, the vertically opposite angles. Now, what does that mean? So when it is formed by when two lines intersect each other, the opposite angles are equal. For example, in the case of linear pair, you see that angle POR, angle POR and angle SOQ, they are opposite to each other, right? They are, this angle and this angle is opposite to each other, but they will have the same value, same as angle ROQ, that means this angle, and angle POS, this angle, they are also opposite to each other, but they will have the same value. So vertically opposite angles, they are always equal. They are always equal, always equal. Now, let's move on to the next thing, that is the types of lines. Types of lines. Yeah, here we have two more types of line that we are going to do. It's so easy. That is intersecting lines and parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Like basically we did intersecting lines and parallel lines. Now it's time to do the perpendicular lines. See, perpendicular line is generally a line intersecting, it is intersecting line that meets at exact 90 degrees. So perpendicular line is a type of intersecting line only. Perpendicular line, it is a type of intersecting line only. For example, I have this line and which we call as OP. Now I have another line like this. I have another line like this. See, this is an intersecting line, right? This is an example of intersecting line. But this line is exactly intersecting at this point, which is why it's making a perpendicular. When a intersecting line meets exactly at 90-degree angle, that makes a perpendicular like this. Okay, now let's move on to the next concept of lines and angles. That is the transversal. What is a transversal? First of all, we are going to learn about it. So what is a transversal? A transversal is a line that passes through two parallel lines. Transversal, yeah, it's a type of line that passes through two parallel lines. For example, we have two lines, RS and TU. We have two lines, RS and TU. These are the two parallel lines. They are never going to meet each other. Now, we have a line that is intersecting them. This intersecting line, it's called, let's name it. For example, this is S, not S actually, because this we have already chosen. So let's name it A. This is B, and this is P, and this one is Q, right? Now the line PQ is a transversal. Why? Because it is passing through the two parallel lines. Now, what are the properties of a transversal line and what kind of angles it forms? See, when you see this parallel line and then the line passing through it, that is a transversal, it forms many types of angles. Now, what types of angle it makes? So, the first angle that it makes is a corresponding angle. Now, what is a corresponding angle? So, same relative position on the transversal. For example, same relative position like this one and this one. They have the same relative position, right? That is why, not exactly this one. Okay, let's name it. This is angle A and this angle B. They have the same relative position. What I mean to say is they both are the exterior angle, the angle that is towards the outside. We call it as exterior angle. So angle 1 and angle 2 are the corresponding angles. Next is the alternate interior angle. What is an alternate interior angle? So inside the parallel lines on opposite sides of the transversal, for example, this is inside of the parallel line, and these lines are alternate interior angle. For example, this, let's name it 3 and 4, and this is 5 and 6. So angle 3 and angle 6 will be equal. Alternate interior angles, they are always equal. Alternate interior angle, they are always equal. Now, angle 3 and angle 6 is equal. Angle 3 is equals to angle 6. Angle 4 is equals to angle 5. They are alternate interior angle. The next is alternate exterior angle. That is this. Let's call it angle 7. And this exterior, let's call it angle 8. So they are also equal. The alternate exterior angle, alternate exterior angle, they are also equal. So over here, angle 7 is equals to angle 8. That's an alternate exterior angle. Now, the next is consecutive interior angles. Consecutive interior angles over here is angle 3 and angle 4, angle 5, and angle 6. They are the consecutive interior angle. So these were the angles that are made by a transversal. Now, what are the properties of it? So remember always that corresponding angles are always equal. Alternate interior angles are also equal always. Alternate exterior angles are also always equal, and co-interior angles are supplementary. Co-interior angles are supplementary means, let's say example 3 and 4. The angle 3 and 4, they are supplementary. That means they should make a total of 180 degrees. Okay. So that was it for today. And in this video, we learned about the two more types of angle, that is the reflex angle and the complete angle. Then we learned about the pairs of angle of supplementary and complementary. Then we learned about adjacent angles, linear pairs, and vertically opposite angles. Then we learned about what is a perpendicular and the transversal, the use and the role of transversal while making an angle. So that is it for today. You can find the attached worksheet related to this in the description box. Thank you so much. That is it for today. Bye-bye.